The crypto industry has embraced Bitcoin. This is everybody in the crypto ecosystem acknowledging that Bitcoin is the foundation of the crypto economy. Bitcoin is the reserve currency of the crypto economy. Bitcoin is the one central, certain, unshakable protocol and the fulcrum, the focal point of the entire industry. Everything else is built on top of it. There's been an unprecedented coalition that's come together in support of Bitcoin, and I think a realization that the entire industry needs Bitcoin as their ethically sound, economically sound, technically sound foundation if they're to have any future. And I think you guys should be very, very proud of that development.
What if I told you that in just 11 months, Bitcoin went from a rising asset to the foundation of a new global monetary system, endorsed by the White House itself? Michael Saylor didn't just speak at Bitcoin Prague 2025. He dropped a bombshell. Rewinding to last July, Bitcoin went $65,000, outpacing gold, silver, the S&P, and bonds. Saylor boldly projected a 29% yearly growth rate, taking Bitcoin to a staggering $13 million per coin within 2 decades. Many called it madness. But today, what's happened is beyond belief. The White House has embraced Bitcoin, not just accepted it, declared the U.S. as the global Bitcoin superpower. That means a pro-Bitcoin administration, new cabinet-level positions focused on Bitcoin, and names like J.D. Vance, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, and David Sachs leading the charge. Wall Street followed. $150 billion in capital now secured behind Bitcoin. Institutions are buying. States are buying. Sovereign wealth is shifting. The tide isn't turning. It's already turned. Saylor calls it the engineering of generational wealth. But the question is, are you in early, or are you going to be priced out forever? This is your chance to witness history in the making. Drop a comment if you believe Bitcoin is no longer just a digital asset, but a financial revolution. Like this video if you're bullish. Share it with someone still on the fence. Subscribe to stay ahead of what comes next, because when the US government starts orange pilling the world, you don't want to be the last to get it. Now let's listen to more of Michael Saylor's keynote at Bitcoin Prague 2025.
Wall Street embraced Bitcoin. $150 billion of capital, 1.4 million Bitcoin. This entire dynamic started in January of last year, but it accelerated after July. Public companies. My company was the first public company to adopt Bitcoin. People thought we were crazy. I thought we were late. Like some of you, I kept thinking that I got it right in 2013. Like, why didn't I buy in 2013? In 2020, I thought I was late. But what happened next is the second company, the third, then 130. Then companies like Trump Media and GameStop in 21. And now, companies are racing to get into the Bitcoin 100. Used to be, we thought, oh, it'd be great, there's 10 Bitcoin companies and 20. Now there's 100. Now there's more than 100. Now we're all going to compete to move up the leaderboard. Yeah, let the games begin. Bitcoin wasn't an institutional asset. It wasn't cool on Wall Street. People thought it might be toxic. Well, now I have a whole set of equity analysts that write research and publish their research to investors, and they put a price target on Bitcoin. So now you have the entire equity capital markets embracing the asset class, writing about it, opining on it. You know, we went from an oddity, tulip bulbs maybe going away, to an entire array of analysts and investment banks starting to have an opinion. And of course, if you look at all the prices up there, Their opinion is all positive, it's all bullish. Technology investors have embraced Bitcoin. What you see there is the Bank of America investment analyst equating Bitcoin to something as profound as the light bulb, the Model T, the World Wide Web. Right? That's a very important rotation. Bitcoin is a technology. Bitcoin's not a speculation. Bitcoin is not an oddity. Bitcoin is not anarchy. Bitcoin is just the next great technology. Financial regulators embrace Bitcoin. This you never believe. The head of the OCC says banks should support Bitcoin. The Fed says it's okay for banks. They should get on and start supporting Bitcoin. The accountants say you need to provide fair accounting for Bitcoin. The SEC says it's okay to create ETFs of Bitcoin. This is an amazing development. Capitol Hill embraced Bitcoin. The House, the Senate, the Cabinet, you've got 3 bills, the Clarity Act, the Genius Act, the Bitcoin Act, all moving through Congress right now. This is something nobody guessed, no one conceived of a year ago. States in the United States are embracing Bitcoin. Governors, right? There's legislation working its way through state legislative branches everywhere. Bitcoin is money for everybody. Bitcoin is for everybody, and everybody is getting interested in it. International governments embrace Bitcoin. Spokespeople for the UK, for Ireland, for Pakistan, for Bhutan, for El Salvador, for Russia, in China, in Hong Kong, in Europe, everywhere, right? They all have an opinion. Their opinion is this is very important. This is an extraordinary movement. 12 months, what's going on? Bitcoin is still running hard, running harder than it has been, up 61%. The Magnificent Seven and the S&P are underperforming. They're struggling. The tariff wars, the trade wars have been a challenge for them. There's been a general mainstream lagging of confidence, and that's caused a surge in gold. But Bitcoin is running much harder than gold. Real estate soldiers on, and bonds continue to fail. Bitcoin's outperforming all asset classes this decade, too. So it continues with what you would expect, 56% on average ARR for the past nearly 5 years. More than double the Mag 7. That's more than double, about double the S&P. You've got gold, a little bit of a surge starting to catch up, but gold's still underperforming the S&P, and real estate less. This is an important chart. Here's what this chart is telling you. The cost of equity is 13%. That means that if a company's capitalized on gold, real estate, bonds, soybeans, oil, any other commodity, it can't beat the cost of equity. You cannot sell equity to buy real estate. It's dilutive. There is only one asset that a company in the world can hold that you can capitalize on that is higher than the cost of equity, and that is Bitcoin. And so you see the explosion in Bitcoin treasury companies is because now that the world's recognized a digital commodity, they also recognize it beats the cost of equity. That means that every public company, in theory, should recapitalize on Bitcoin, because when they sell equity, they're actually generating profits. They're creating an accretive transaction for their shareholders, right? The world is waking up to this. You see that hence you see an explosion, in the shares of Metaplanet and Smarter Web and H100 and Blockchain Group, right? This is going to continue. These companies are going to catch fire everywhere in the world, in every capital market, for one simple reason. Investors can see that 56% is more than 13%. It's just that simple. And this is It's a very powerful dynamic. And yet Bitcoin is just 20 basis points of global wealth. So here's an interesting thing. We are now at an inflection point. We have all the information to know Bitcoin is winning, and yet the majority, 99.8% of the capital in the world, still pretends and acts like it isn't. Most is still oblivious. You know something the rest of the world has not yet acknowledged, and yet it couldn't be clearer to all of us in this room. There's a monetary revolution afoot, a revolution in economic thinking. It's spreading everywhere in the world. It's fueled by the digital transformation of the capital markets that you see manifested in all of these companies and all of these securities and all of this Bitcoin activity. And it's going to be accelerated by explosive financial innovation. That innovation is surging now. You can see it everywhere around us. Every single company is thinking, how do I integrate? What am I going to do? So the revolution is afoot. The world is bullish on Bitcoin. It's being adopted faster and more aggressively by governments, by banks, by corporations, by investors than nearly all of us thought a year ago, right? We were bullish a year ago. We've seen the explosion of all these Bitcoin treasury companies. I didn't think they would go so fast. I didn't think Smarter Web would go from 4 million pounds to £1 billion in 2 months. Metaplanet goes from 10 million to 1 billion, and I was ready to declare victory. I thought, that's great, that's 100x. And then they surged to 8 billion. So of course you're bullish, I'm bullish, but the point is the governor of Texas is bullish. The point is the president of the United States is bullish. The point is people you don't know in places you've never been are bullish. This is extraordinary. I take a moment to go back to someone that was bullish when none of us were here, when none of us had this information. January 10th, 2009, the network launched technically January 3rd, but it was kind of clicking away by January 9th. And the next day, a certain genius estimates that Bitcoin could be $10 million a coin. And this is so humbling. It took the rest of us 16 years, $2 trillion in order to come to a conclusion that, yeah, this is going to happen. Inflection point, ignition point, escape velocity. When a nuclear reactor comes online, when the chain reaction starts up, we call that criticality. Bitcoin's reached criticality. The network has come to life. The work's done. The power's flowing. And there's no off switch. Satoshi's fire is now unstoppable, right? The network is unstoppable.
And that's a wrap on today's video. Since July 2024, the wave of pro-Bitcoin momentum has been nothing short of jaw-dropping. No one expected the White House to flip so fast, and yet here we are, watching a pro-Bitcoin administration openly embrace this revolutionary asset. Even more shocking? In just 16 years, we've gone from skepticism and memes to major companies making Bitcoin their treasury reserve. Bitcoin isn't just rising, it's reshaping the global financial frontier for businesses, for governments, and for generations to come. So now we ask you, what do you think is Bitcoin's next big move? Is this the beginning of a new monetary era? Is generational wealth finally within reach? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're reading every one. If this video gave you value, smash that like button, share it with someone who still doesn't get it. And don't forget to subscribe. We bring you the latest Bitcoin and crypto insights every single day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.